Hello, my fellow Americans and international friends, and welcome back into the Cal Report. Today is September 14th, 2025. So, right now, we're going to do a quick recap on what took place at this past Tuesday's Orange County Board of Supervisors meeting on September 9th. There was an agenda item that was brought forward by Supervisor Wagner and Supervisor Wynn in reaction to the latest news reports, as we covered on the last Cal report, of the dog that had voted in a couple of elections. So it was agenda item S27E, which essentially was to direct the Orange County Registrar of Voters himself, Bob Page, to clean up the voter rolls, more specifically, get any non humans off the voter rolls. And they had one last day to do it on September 9th because on September 10th, Bob Page was scheduled to start running the data for the special election that's coming up in November. Let's take a look at how this meeting went. I'll give you a hint, though. Don't expect the majority to do the right thing.
We learned on Friday, September 5th, following the board's regular agenda item submission deadline, that a dog has been registered to vote and indeed did vote in 2 elections, one of which was counted. And that was news to all of us. It shouldn't have been. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about 17 voters who were subject to DOJ action. And it would have been nice then if we had been told, hey, guys, you think that's bad? Wait till you hear about the dog. We weren't told that. In fact, the registrar's known about this dog since October of 2024, according to the news reports. But we only learned about it when the news reports hit February after the posting of our agenda. And what's the need for the urgency today? The answer to that is we all know we've got a special election coming up on November 4th, 2025. But what's the need today, not our next meeting? Here's the answer to that. Tomorrow, our registrar has said he will run the voter file address list for that November 4, 2025 special election. And so we need to get on this today to see what the registrar is doing, how a dog got registered, what we're doing to see whether other dogs are registered. What are we doing to find out if cats are registered? What are we doing to make sure our voter rolls are in fact secure so that tomorrow when we run those files, we know that it's only going to be people, not Fido, who's voting. So the urgency is tomorrow is the day all of this gets set in stone.
I don't want to discuss the merits of this because I think that this fails to meet the test to be able to come before us for consideration, although it meets the second element, which is that it is time sensitive. We've had emergencies here, and I'm sure we will have emergencies in this county. I don't see that this is one of them, so I will not be supporting just the initial question of whether it should be considered.
I don't know if he's going to run for this position again, but regardless, I need to say something because I'm running to get into the seat that he's currently in. That is a typical politician answer to what we're faced with right here. First of all, if I was sitting in that seat right there, you would never get that answer from me. I would absolutely vote in support of this item. I would say, yes, we need to clean up the voter rolls. It's just pure common sense. Pure common sense. And second of all, Sarmiento's a guy that loves to give a by-the-book BS answer on why, something like this is not an emergency item. Not an emergency item. Dude, there's dogs on the voter rolls. We don't know if there's other animals on there. Oh, wait. Oh, I see. Yeah, because you're elected. You're sitting in that seat, so you find no problem with the voter rolls how they are whatsoever. You don't care how many horses, pigs, chickens, birds, cats, or whatever else is on those voter rolls, right? I get it.
Mr. Page, can you come to the podium, please?
Wait.
No, because that's the immediate action. You teed it up as immediate action.
We only do that if this goes on the agenda.
Respectfully, it's my time to ask a question.
At the same time. Okay.
Mr. Page, can you come to the podium, please?
Point of order. Point of
whoa.
order, Mr. Chairman.
Are we talking about? We can go in and debate the merit of the
No,
bill. I mean, this
I
whole
don't
thing
know
if
that
we
we
wanted
can
to,
call
because that's what
anybody
it
to
sounds
react.
like.
No, I have to determine what steps would be required.
But that no. We're talking about just
Point of
being
order,
able to
Mr.
allow us to
Chairman.
speak
Excuse
on
me,
the.
colleagues, I have the floor.
County Council,
You do not have a point of.
I have
you
the
do not
floor
have the
'cause I'm
floor if a
asking the
member
lawyer-
raises a point of order.
I'm asking.
excuse me. Whoa. Let's
Under
all stop.
Robert's
Let's-
rules, you do not have the
No,
floor if a
let's-
member
You
raises
haven't
a
even let
point of
me
order.
answer.
Okay,
Ask
we're not
my
arguing
question
who has
about-
the
Because
floor.
the
Please,
question
let's
is out of
call
order.
time out here. All right.
And Mayor
My
Chairman,
understanding is that
Messaging.
until the item is added, we don't call people, including the registrar.
Excuse me, I have to ask Mr. Page if that's lawful, okay?
Yeah, that's-
So, Mr. Page.
Okay, that's the
In
question.
order
If
to.
we're going to be doing this, then I would like to also talk about the merit of the bill.
Supervisor Wynn, excuse me, I'm
but
asking
we-
a question of our lawyer.
Miss-
If you could
Mr.
refrain
Chairman, can I have
from
a ruling?
talking over me. Mr. Page, so in the first prong of the test is what? Can you repeat the first prong of the test?
That there is a need to take immediate action.
Okay, so how do we determine if there is a need to take immediate action if we don't have facts from the person that is going to take the immediate action? Can you tell me how we meet that prong? Without asking Mr. Page what the procedural steps are that he has to take and what the timing is. I don't have a way to know whether or not there is a need to take immediate action. As an example, I don't know when is the last time that he purged the voter rolls. I don't know when. I, of course, want to remove every non-eligible voter from our voter rolls. That is not in dispute. I, of course, want to remove every non-eligible voter from the voter rolls, especially those who don't support my core values, okay?
Wait a second. One more time. What was that?
I, of course, want to remove every non-eligible voter from the voter rolls, especially those who don't support my core values, okay?
Oh, good to see she said the quiet part out loud. Go ahead. Continue.
However, we don't know when is the last time Mr. Page purged the rolls. That's one critical question as to whether there's a need to take immediate action. Number two, we don't know what the timeline is for him to provide the voter rolls, I guess, to the state in order to prepare for the next election. That's a question I would have to know the answer to in order to vote on this. Number three, I don't know even how you determine whether there's a dog on the voter roll. I mean, how do you know that? How do you review the voter rolls to determine that? Okay, so that's a question I would have in order to be able to know whether or not we need to take immediate action. So those are the 3 points.
Okay, thank you for that.
Mr. Page? No. I'm asking him a question.
Excuse me.
I asked him a question. He's allowed to answer
Point.
my question.
Okay.
We're
There's
talking
a point
about
of order.
a county council page?
Yes,
Okay.
Mr. Page,
All right,
our lawyer.
Well, we also have a
I
registrar by the name of
apologize.
Page.
I was
want to be
directing
sure.
my comments to Mr. Page because we are taking a vote on a legal standard and whether or not we meet the first
Okay,
prong.
if you can succinctly answer the question.
And thank you, Supervisor Foley. And I don't mean to dodge, but typically I think as to whether or not staff would be called forward to answer the board members' questions. And I agree, you do need to make a finding, and you need to make a finding based on facts and your understanding of the situation. But as to whether or not staff can be called forward at this time, I think that's within the prerogative of the chair to run the meeting.
Okay, so we can. It's not illegal for us to do that.
I'm not aware of anything in the Brown Act or otherwise in the government code that says the board members can't call staff forward. So I think it just goes back to the chair's running of the meetings.
I'm not going to support it. I didn't see this until our clerk, while I was sitting here this morning, handed me a copy of the item. And so I'm trying to study it. But, it's so strange that it's an impossible request. There's no money provided for staffing, for example, to do the impossible. And it does not prevent, there's no emergency here because it doesn't prevent between now and November when the election is held, dogs and cats being enlisted. Nothing in here. It's kind of ongoing, really.
Another classic politician answer. Anyone who says that staff needs more money to keep dogs, cats, and whatever else non-human off the voter rolls is pretty ridiculous. That's part of the job, right, Supervisor Wagner?
The fact that there's no money for staffing, I find a minor argument, because that's part of the job. They're not supposed to have dogs and cats on the rolls. It's kind of silly to say, you need to give me more money so I can keep all the dogs and cats off the rolls. No, they're not supposed to be there, and they don't need supplemental staffing to make sure that those rolls are right.
Thank you. Continue.
And I will agree with you, Mr. Chairman, that you said that this doesn't stop dogs and cats from being enlisted in the future. Well, I would really like to know from the registrar, and we will be bringing this item back if it fails today. I can't understand why the registrar and this board would want to keep that item out there, but it's going to come back so that we can find out from the registrar what he is going to do to stop what you said, Mr. Chairman, and that's dogs and cats from being enlisted on the rolls. Why we wouldn't take this up now and see what we can do in advance of tomorrow is utterly beyond me. But putting our heads in the sand now and letting 2 weeks go by with more dogs and cats maybe getting on the rolls, or maybe the registrar can move some dogs and cats off the rolls in those 2 weeks, would be good to see, I guess. But we ought to address it today because tomorrow is the deadline.
Oh, thank you. The staffing I was referring to was checking the voter rolls as they exist to see if there are any dogs and cats.
Which they should be doing.
Well,
how can they let dogs and cats on the rolls and just say, I don't have enough money to clear them?
Well, that's this is requiring an immediate inspection of every voter on the roll. All right. Now, what is before us is simply a motion to add Supplement 27E to the agenda. It has been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Supervisor Wagner, Supervisor Wynn, Supervisor Sarmiento, Vice Chair Foley,
Nay.
and Chair Javy.
No. All right, now let's move on to the next item.
Of course it wouldn't pass. So what we just found out is, once again, Don Wagner and Janet Wynn are the only ones on that board that want fair elections. Vicente Sarmiento, Doug Chafee, and Katrina Foley are all perfectly fine with dogs, cats, and whatever else non-human on the voter rolls. There you have it. That's it for today. Really appreciate you guys watching my video. As always, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, or please subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate it, guys. That's what's going on in California. Yay. God bless. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.